You in this boxing salon, whatever you're called, right? You see you must be the most bored man on planet Earth, because what you do is you sit and talk about what the fuck I do. Remember this, right? What you talk about, I do. I do it. You talk about it, I do it. So that gives me the right to say whatever I want about what I do. It doesn't give you the right because you don't do it. Now, if you show me a video of you doing it and doing it at the level I do it at, then maybe you can have a say. But remember this, I fight, you watch. It's that simple. That's all it's about. I fight, you watch. No one gives a shit about what you say or what you do, but they give a shit about me because I fight. I don't watch. Simple as that. Your podcast isn't worth a carrot. I don't give a shit what you say, what you do. If you've got something to say to me, I'm not hard to find. I'm usually on the front row at boxing events. Come and say hello, or come and say to me what you'd say to me on your daft podcast. But remember this, I get more views with a fart than what you get with a 2-hour podcast. On that note,
that was painful.
Oh, fuck. Fuck me. What time is it, lads? What time is it?
That was painful, eh?
Oh, sorry. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is, you know who this is. I'm the Scottish guy who Tony Bellew doesn't know anything about. On this podcast this evening is Adam Smith, Alex Morris, Kurt Ward and Tommy Allen. Guys, I'm completely pissed off, shall I say. 6 hours of that fucking mundane, undiluted verbal diarrhea bullshit we've just watched tonight. You know, what can we say about it? We're not going to talk about the main event, not the main event, the pay-per-view. The main event is what we're here to talk about. Anybody want to call in, you know what to do. Call into Box Selling Pod on Skype and we'll get you through. I don't know where to start, guys. You know, we were told this is going to be vicious, mate. This is going to be, you know, the fucking war of end of wars. It should have been the fucking Ali Fraser of your time, and it never caught fire, did it? Cleverly, don't know what he did with the right hand. If he had a right hand, actually, it was jab, 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 jab. 6th, 7th, 8th round, he had nothing left. I think I had it 116, 112 to Tony Bellew. They want a third fight? Go and sook a fart out my arse. I don't want to see anything of these two again. And Bellew, sorry mate, listen, if you go up to fight Marco Hook, come on now, that's not going to happen. Tommy mate, you're gutted. You're a Cleverly fan. Take it away, mate. I mean, the less I say, the better. In all honesty, because I don't want to get in the bother here.
It's probably going to sound like hard grapes, what I'm going to say, but that was the Nathan Cleverly in the ring there tonight. Nathan Cleverly that we've all watched that for years. His career was ended by Sergey Kovalev, in my opinion. He came out tonight. He basically tried to win the fight with one hand. I don't know how he didn't throw the right hand. I don't know if there was some up his shoulder, or some up his hand, but it just didn't look like Nathan Cleverly. Cleverly's a fighter who'll throw 3 and 4 punch combinations, quick combinations. He's fit, he can fight for 12 rounds. You can understand maybe how he was tired with the extra weight, going up in weight, but why did he not throw the right hand? Why was he throwing 2-3 jabs at a time? He looks like a short fighter. Basically, in my opinion, he's just a fighter that's been there for a payday tonight.
I can't disagree with that. Adam, mate, listen, I think we all said it before, you know, that tonight was not a pay-per-view.
No, absolutely not. And the main event was shocking. I think that it's
Shocking? Is that the best word you can use? Shocking?
Well, I don't like to swear on the podcast. My mum might be listening at 3 minutes to 1 on a Sunday morning.
Fuck.
But no, it was terrible. I think it's a. I mean, Bellew's going to celebrate the win for obvious reasons, but I think the last 4 rounds was more. I mean, we had a sense anyway that Cleverly might have been in it for the payday, flirted with retirement. Moved up to weight out of choice rather than necessity. As Bellew, I think we can kind of accept he was tighter at the weight than Cleverly. The last 4 rounds, I think it's a bad show on Bellew that Cleverly for at least 2 of the rounds, and one of them vividly, I think it was 9, stayed in the same position for the whole 3 minutes, and Bellew could not put him away. Cleverly hardly threw a punch for 4 rounds, and at one point Bellew was leaning on Cleverly, and he was leaning on an exhausted man who was there for the taking, and Bellew himself was exhausted and couldn't land enough punches to finish it. It was terrible, and the best thing about it, I've said this a few times about other fights. The best thing about it is that Bellew now goes on to fight someone bigger and better, and the bookies all think that he's good, and I'm going to cash in because he got hit quite a few times, even though Cleverly was using one hand for the most of it. I think I tweeted after the 9th. That was one of the worst. That was one of the worst rounds I've ever seen. Either the 9th or 10th, Bellew, just couldn't land hardly anything clean to get Cleverly out there. I think he did land in the 9th with something of significance, and that's when Cleverly went to the ropes for the first time, and then for the final minute, hardly landed a punch at all. It was the worst minute of poor quality boxing I think I've ever seen, and for that to be topping a bill, I think they can have. We've discussed the pay-per-view more than most. I think you can. I think the undercard, you kind of take a gamble. You get a Japanese fighter in, hope that he puts up a decent fight. You get someone from Panama in or wherever Shakan's from or whatever. You gamble a little bit on them. But the main event, they have control over the main event. They're both promoted by Matchroom. They should really know if Cleverly's appetite's in it to perform in a pay-per-view event. It was a horrible fight, horrid fight.
Absolutely disgusting, turgid, absolute verbal diarrhea, utter bollocks of a fight. Kurt, Alex, I know for a fact you two haven't paid for this pay-per-view tonight. I absolutely abhor anybody. We told you for weeks on end.
Don't pay for it.
Not to pay for a fight. Team stream by other means, methods, or whatever you want to call it. That was our hashtag. You would think, give it a rest, give it a break, chime off, just enjoy the fights. Tell me, Kurt, did you enjoy one single fight on that card tonight?
I didn't enjoy a single one. I streamed it. I'm happy I did, but to be honest, at the end of that, I was so angry. I had my Hotmail open, ready to send Sky an email out of just anger. To be honest, even though I got it for free, and to the people that paid for it, maybe you've got a lot of money and £17 nothing to you, but I feel sorry for you, to be honest, to pay for that shit, because her and everyone else are just laughing all the way to the bank, to be honest. And it was, I said off air, Eddie must have been sitting there praying that the main event was a good fight, because that would be the thing that would save it, because at the end of the day, that's all people care about when it's all said and done. But it just got worse. It reminded me of, if you ever see, a crackhead fighting a fat bum on the street, the skinny crackhead standing there and the fat bum's winging away trying to punch his head and he can't hit him. It's just terrible. You've got one guy who can't throw, one guy who throws but can't land. What were the punch stats? 15 and 17% landed in a 12-round fight for these two. Absolutely dreadful. The one good thing is if you are like me and you dislike Tony Bellew, this win's great, because he's going to go in with a Marco Huck or a Denis Lebedev, and we'll see who carries power in that fight, because I know who it's going to be, and it's not going to be him. And a third fight, I honestly think some idiots out there, the ones who are slick Eddie Hearn and say, retweet me Eddie please, I think they'd pay for it. I think they'd pay for Tony Bellew standing there in his Everton kit, to be honest. But no one wants to see that fight again. Cleverly, he's just there for the payday. Bellew won't be happy with his performance. He wants to stop him. It was a shit fight, shit card, just like we said it would be.
The highlight of the night for me was Howard Foster stopping that Paraban fight.
He wanted it to end as well, didn't he? Yeah. He was just fed up.
Shocking. Listen, just to let listeners know, as we're not going to be discussing the undercard fight tonight. This is purely Bellew Cleverly tonight. The regular show will be available live tomorrow, 8 p.m. If you want to have your say on the Cleverly Bellew fight, what you do is, you know what to do. If you're on Skype, add Box and Selling Pod, and we'll get you through. Alex, fuck me, man. I just, I think my drunken stumor comes through. Cheers, Tommy. Do you have a kebab tonight, mate? Eh?
No, the chinky.
Chinky.
I mean a Chinese.
Sorry, Chinese, but very ethnic origin. Listen, sorry to listeners, mate. Listen, I'm reading some of the comments actually after Mr. Bellew went off and one on us in that iFilm London interview. Well, apparently we're negative, etc., etc. Basically, in the days, guys, we call the truth. We see it how we see it, and we call it how we see it. Alex, tell me anything positive about that fight tonight.
Are you not entertained?
What?
It's finished.
Russell Crowe.
Oh, fucking hell, man. It was a struggle. It was a fucking struggle. All the way from the first fight at 6 o'clock to the end. Sitting through all of the fucking shocking fights. The controversy in the stoppages whenever we got stoppages. Listening to Carl fucking Froch talking at ringside out of his fucking ass all night. Then we get to the main event, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight. Just shocking. 15% connect rate, when for at least three of those rounds, both fighters were fucking stationary against the ropes and they still couldn't land a punch against each other. Nathan Cleverly just throwing a weak as fuck jab and doing the fucking bolo punch thing without ever connecting anything. It was just absolute fucking bollocks. And anyone who paid 17 quid for that, I saw loads of people on Twitter today saying, I finally caved in, I'm going to pay for the pay-per-view, or I can't wait for this card now, it's going to be good, or I can't be bothered finding the stream. Fuck you. You've just contributed to that shit, and you've suffered through it all. And I'm laughing my ass off now. I love watching that on the stream because I know I didn't pay for it, and it was just rubbish. And I want all of you who paid for it to call in and tell us if you thought it was worth it.
Exactly. Here we go. There is a question. Tommy, I know you went to a house tonight, mate, that had the on pay-per-view. Am I right in saying that? Did your old man pay for it?
No, I was going to watch it on a stream tonight. The old man came down. I told him I'm not paying for it out of principle, and he says, fuck it, there's 20 quid to pay for it. So I says, fair enough. I ordered it and he paid for it, so.
Adam, did you pay for it, mate? Adam?
Yeah.
I'll kick him off right now.
No, I went to my mate's house and we paid off because I was planning to go. I genuinely thought that that I would have been successful in my application. I was unsuccessful in my application. Yeah, but bear in mind, I've been to a few shows what probably you guys don't even know about or can't remember that I've told you I've been to.
I know what shows you go to, mate. Don't you worry about that.
A bit, but yeah, I got so I got rejected. I went to the weigh-in. I was the only person that booed. Me and my mate were the only people that booed George Groves, which I enjoyed. And we was also the only people that shouted out "knock him out, Sprott." And even to the extent that Sprott even heard us and let off a smile, so that was good. But yeah, I went off with my mate tonight. Walked in just as McDonald was on, so we made a few quid on his fight, and then I lost it because Bellew ain't good enough to stop an opponent that don't move for 12 minutes. Or 15 minutes. So,
is your mate's name Eddie, by any chance?
No, not on this occasion. I'm going round to Eddie's for dinner on Tuesday evening to discuss it. So.
After getting that declined, you should be on Team Warren after that.
Are you going to keep throating on Adam?
Well, if he requests it, obviously, yeah.
I seen you sucking up Froch's fucking fart pipe, by the way, honestly.
God, but I know we're not discussing undercard fights, but I'm so proud to say that Carl Froch has ruined George Groves' career. It fills me with warmth.
Do you know who I feel bad for tonight?
Sorry?
Sir Joe at ringside having to sit and witness that.
Yeah, but no one spoke. Did anyone speak to him tonight?
Nobody is worthy of speaking to Sir Joe at ringside Liverpool, by the way. Just leave off.
They had the bums in the studio to do that, didn't they?
Exactly. I mean, Johnny Nelson. What's that? I bet Johnny Nelson was looking at a fight tonight saying, "Oh, Tony Bellew, I'm going to."
He'd be like his lips. He'd be like his fucking lips. Johnny, come back.
Johnny Nelson would fucking probably knock him out.
Every time Carl was talking, I did find his comment funny about me Cobra George Groves. That's probably the highlight of the pay-per-view, to be honest. But I kept noticing him looking to the right, and then when Cleverly came out, I noticed Sir Joe was at ringside. I thought he's just making sure Sir Joe's away from him. He doesn't want to get involved in a tussle with our Welsh legend.
It was interesting listening to Froch saying that they should rematch and he'll fight the winner there.
Well, just we're talking about rematches, right? Okay, you had after the fight Cleverly calling out for a trilogy, basically. He wants the third fight or the rubber match in Wales. See if that fight is picked up right, by Sky. Okay, they pick it up. See, they put it on pay-per-view. I'm hereby leading the official charge to run down to London and firebomb Sky headquarters. That fight ends up on pay-per-view. There's the boxing in fucking Britain's finished, from my opinion.
Ben Wiseman Industries.
They cannot put it. Sorry, that's the goal label speaking there. I posted the goal label bottle on Twitter tonight, so people will know what my problem is tonight. That fucking fight is absolutely abomination on boxing. Kurt, have you got any callers coming on, mate? I think we've got quite a few.
Yeah, I think Boxing Guru's on now, I think.
Boxing Guru, is this Gary Barlow on Check Hook Boxing, is it?
Yeah, it is.
How you doing, mate?
Alright, guys.
Listen,
Not
mate,
too bad.
were you the man that was in their Majesty's Pleasure recently?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Okay, mate. Listen, fire away, mate. Listen, the floor is yours. Give me your take on that shit tonight.
Well, you kind of all said it all. I mean, I did buy it, but...
Oh, no, man!
Get the hell, man.
Kick him off the call.
Well, in my defence, I knew it was shit. I did say for the past few weeks, so... But, I don't know.
How did you score the main event?
Well, it was shit, but...
How did you score it?
Well, I stopped scoring there after 7 rounds because I just got bored of it. Although I do agree Bellew won the last 4 rounds.
Yeah.
But
Nathan did fuck all in those last 4 rounds.
yeah, but the thing with Bellew is, in the 9th, he was just hitting fresh air. Because he was throwing so much, you have to give him the round.
He's not got the intelligence of a fighter to take a step back, maybe and take his shots up. You seen him doing it once and he landed the right hand, but...
Well, it's not even just that, he's just shit.
He's no boxing IQ.
He's just shit.
He's a prick as well, isn't he?
Ooh, cleverly.
Well, if you've read what I've been saying...
I had a good punchline for it tonight as well, if Cleverly had won.
I'm looking at my
Tony
scorecard.
Bellew.
I'm looking at my scorecard just now. From the 7th round to the 12th, I'd never gave Cleverly a round.
I think after 7 I had it 4-3 cleverly, if I remember correctly. But I think even some at that stage had Bellew ahead, so...
I gave Bellew the last 4 rounds.
Oh, there's no doubt who won it, but... It was just shit. I mean, I expected the undercard to be shit, but the main event was...
I think basically is the best performance or the best shown on that undercard is going to be the Japanese fighter that fought Quig Otka. I mean,
Teak and tough. He wasn't at the canteen.
Exactly,
but, you know,
mate.
he was
Exactly.
like
But the
that.
thing is, he was slow. They had no power. He was fit
in his game, wasn't
he
he?
stood in front of him. That's what Quig loves. That's what he feasts on. Anybody with movement is going to give him major problems, right? But at the end of the day, as well, as the guy was tough as fuck. You got a Japanese fighter who's probably in the top 10 Japanese rankings. That guy's going to give you fucking everything he can handle.
But that was the one fight people expected to be the walkover, reading the forums.
Well, Joshua Sprott was...
That was
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think that needs mentioning.
Yeah, but Guru, you say that you expected the undercard to be shit. I mean, did you buy into Bellew's war and Trench's talk? Did you buy into that? Did you think it was going to spark?
Well, no, I mean, if you've read my Twitter for the last few years, I've never liked him, so...
I was reading it tonight, mate. Actually, you were quite practically along my lines. Actually, as to how shite that fucking whole card was. 6 hours. I mean, I wouldn't mind paying for a pay-per-view if it was 2 hours long, providing you had some decent competitive fights.
You got to remember as well. We asked Eddie Hearn the other week what pay-per-view he'd rather pay for, this one or the one next week, and he said this pay-per-view. Obviously, he was going to say that, but he said that one was better. But unless that card next week, all the fighters pull out, maybe that could happen, I suppose. But
Well, that seems likely at the moment, anyway.
There's no real comparison, is there? There's not even the best card of the night, and it was fucking pay-per-view.
It's like I said before, less is more. 2 or 3 good fights is enough. You don't need 8 or 9 fights shown live, because you can't have that many quality fights on one card anyway.
Bradley Saunders, that fight should have that would have got boxing stopped.
shit.
I don't know how he will headline any card anywhere, never mind the Northeast. He's just not good enough.
Plan, eh? It seems to be the plan for March. He's going to headline up at the what do you call it, the Metro Arena in Newcastle. I might go to it just to see if I can maybe get press passes for it actually.
And the thing with Jamie McDonald is he's in a good fight every time because he's so bad. It's not because it's
Good
he's
matchmaking.
being matched well. Yeah. I mean, you could put him in with one of you guys, you'd probably hold your own with him.
Yeah, but we're probably like 5 stone bigger than him.
Ah, you're Tommy there actually.
I'm a 6 stone now.
But I've got no complaints in terms of buying it because I knew it was shit. So I'm not pissed I paid for it because you have to be a complete moron if you didn't know what you were getting. But you can still moan over the card whether you paid for it or not because, like he said on your podcast, judge after the event.
He did say it was low to mid-level pay-per-view. It was beyond low. It was more like fucking dog trash.
Blue Square Premier League with, that was what it was like.
Blue
wasn't
Square,
it?
listen, that was Sunday League level. Fucking
That was
pay-per-view.
SPL. That was.
Oh yeah, well I'll give you that one.
That was barely a domestic fight at best. It wasn't even European level.
Not exactly, mate.
You could have stuck in one of these fights on the undercard at a price, right? Yeah.
Look, any of those fights potentially could have headlined their own show in their own respective towns. Quigg and Bury or Manchester, that Bellew fight in Liverpool, normal Sky by the way. McDonnell and I don't know, where's he from? Doncaster up north somewhere. Fucking Bradley Saunders. Who else do we have? Joshua could have headlined his fight in fucking London. Groves could have been on undercard of that fucking fight. De Gale could have been on that undercard. It's a complete and utter shitfest.
The funny thing for me with Jamie McDonald is it seems the only way Hearn can give him fights and pay him is by sticking him on these pay-per-view cards. He doesn't seem to headline his own shows because there's no interest specifically in him. So I think that's just the way he will go. Although he's got that world title fight next, hasn't he, in Vegas, which is just even ridiculous.
Where in Vegas is that going to be?
I just thought it was funny though. Two things, you got the WBA champion fighting at 6:10 in front of about 20 people, and then you got Carl Froch talking about one in a Vegas fight and Jamie McDonald fighting in Vegas. Froch just looked pissed off talking about it.
I'll tell you right now, actually, I think tonight is basically proof Froch does not want or willing to fight De Gale. Fight's not going to happen.
I've always said De Gale beats him.
So have I. I've always said the same. I think De Gale beats him as well.
Adam Smith.
Bad style match for him.
I mean, I think the next pay-per-view will be Groves De Gale.
Oh, definitely, mate. Definitely. And the way they were pushing it tonight was definitely.
And with that fight, I wouldn't actually moan if it is pay-per-view. I know it's been done before, but it's a good fight.
It still needs an undercard though, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious now that Hearn can't do an undercard. He's had enough chances. He keeps saying it, but can you name one good undercard?
Nope.
Tonight or recently?
No, well, on any of his cards. I mean...
Well, I know his matchmaker was... Is he no involved with Peacock's gym in London, I think? Yeah, I forget his matchmaker's name just now, but... I mean, go back to like maybe the late 80s, early 90s, Don King's undercards. Don King, you can say a lot about him, but he put on stacked undercards with decent title fights, with good names and good fighters.
Like you Tyson and Chavez in that fight, didn't you?
You had Julian Jackson and Jerry McClellan fighting in empty arenas and stuff. Twice actually, believe it or not. Empty arenas, two of the biggest punchers in the sport. And they're fighting in front of an empty arena. I think the first fight or the second fight, I think, was fought on the undercard of Lewis against...
Was it Mercer?
I don't think it was Mercer, mate. I think it was... Did they ever fight Tony Tubbs? No, it wasn't Tubbs. Who the fuck was it? This is the matter, anyway. This is the matter. I forget his name, actually. Gary, I'll just call you Gary Barlow, actually, mate.
Yeah.
Because I don't know actually your name on the forums, but just before we get any of our callers on, with that victory tonight, who do you want to see Bellew fight next?
To be honest, I don't really care. I mean, before the fight, I was desperate for Bellew to lose. Midway through the fight, I didn't care who won or lost.
Yeah, I was like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hope he fights Hook because he'll get his head took off.
He'll get chinned there.
But the problem with that is, if he gets that fight, I've got a feeling he'll be put on some pay-per-view with something else. Because I can't see Bellew wanting to go back to being a regular Sky fighter.
There's one thing about Marco Hook. He carries power.
Power!
Genuine power.
Power! Plus, as well as he could be classed as I wouldn't say a legit heavyweight, but he's on the verge of, especially in pro terms, you know.
Hook's boiling down. He's boiling down to the cruiserweight limit, isn't he?
Heavyweight.
I will say one thing though on the pay-per-views. I don't understand how Sky get away with having adverts in between rounds.
I know. Fucking shocking, isn't it?
But
Must be pouring another whiskey. Anyway, Gaz, thanks a lot for your call, mate. It's
No problem.
First time
Thanks
for calling in. Hopefully you call in again, mate. Listen, we're back live again tomorrow, so hopefully you want to call in again tomorrow and just slate that shit face of an undercard.
Guru, has anyone ever told you you sound like Ringo Starr?
no.
You do.
Well, I'm not sure that's a compliment, but thanks.
I think you should actually take over off the narration of Thomas Tank Engine, actually.
Well, I meant to call in the past, but I have to keep a bit of a low profile recently.
I can understand that, mate.
I mean, it's even nowadays, people are still asking me to stream, so I'm like... yeah. But, I mean, I don't blame people for watching. I'll be honest, I won't be buying any more pay-per-views in future unless it's a huge fight like a Froch Golovkin. So. Well, that's me done with him. But I will say, I do think Kane does a good job for his fighters, not specifically for the fans, but if you look at the positions he's getting his fighters in, some of them are just basic domestic European level, but he's getting them in world title fights, so I will give him that much credit.
Well. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for your call, mate.
Thanks for having me on.
No worries, bud.
Okay, see you guys.
Cheers.
See you later.
I think we've got Joe coming on next. Is that right, Kurt?
Yeah, I think Joe's on now.
Hey there, Joe.
Hello?
Alright, mate, listen, are you Welsh by any chance?
No.
No.
British.
British, good man.
Welsh or British too.
First question, mate, did you pay for that shit tonight?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, for fuck's sake, get him off the call.
No, I've got a knack of paying for all the pay-per-views, and yeah, it was shocking. It was shocking.
Your money back.
The entire card?
Yeah. I think I watched the first 2 hours, and I tweeted 2 hours
Avast
in.
virus
this is
database
shit.
has been
And then
updated.
2 hours later, this is even more shit. And then, God, the main event was just awful. Probably the worst fight I've seen in a while.
I just, I think we'll basically say that. I mean, I think Eddie Hearn said it as well, as that fight alone wasn't pay-per-view worthy. It was meant to be on the undercard of a Kell Brook fight, but even then, to press forward with it, I know people were going to eventually end up paying for it, but Jesus Christ, I've no sympathy for those that are now wanting to come. Listen, I know you're one of them, Joe. I know you are now complaining. I know you paid for it, but I've no sympathy for anyone who paid for that shit and then decide they want to complain about it, because we've told you. I don't want to keep harping on about it. We told you this shit was going to happen for months.
Yeah, I kind of I knew the card. I knew the card was shit. I expected this fight, Cleverly Bellew too. I thought it would be a bit better than it was. It was awful. Cleverly just at cruiserweight, he's useless, isn't he? After 6 rounds, he was done. And Bellew is just, God, when he was, I think from the 9th round on, when he could have taken him out. He didn't have it in him because he's just carrying too much weight. Like they'd be perfect at like 190 pounds, but 200 pounds is just too much.
Yeah, I think basically I really like to know. This is the thing about Sky. Actually, they don't really let you know as what the rehydration weight was at the night of the fight. So it'd be interesting to see as to what Bellew actually weighed, because it did look like, as people have says, it was like he was far more an actually stronger guy going down the stretch, 9th, 10th round. He was just like cleverly just did move off the ropes for like the last 4 or 5 rounds.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I thought I know you're talking about the undercard tomorrow, but the Quigg fight, the Japanese was tough enough. The McDonald fight, I can't stand watching McDonald. Like, stick him on the red button for fuck's sake. But yeah, I can't watch McDonald. But Groves looked flat. DeGale looked better. I don't know what Periban was doing. Like, I know they were saying he looked out of shape, but he always looks like that, to be honest. But
Brian King just pointed out on Twitter that Hearn said that Periban was a far better fighter than Gonzalez.
yeah, I'd say they're pretty even kill, really.
I says that to you there, and he says Paraban would absolutely destroy him. I says maybe would knock him out, but they're pretty much the same level, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, but with Bellew, I think he'll probably get the title fight next. He'll be in pay-per-view again. Smash him to pieces.
I was sitting watching that card tonight, and all I was thinking about was I can't wait to watch Bradley Skeet fight next week.
Yeah.
Frankie Gavin, my God.
That's the
Frankie
thing,
Gavin and Bradley Skeet, that would have been a great fight on that fucking pay-per-view.
That's the thing, though. I mean, these type of shows are supposed to get the casuals in, you know, and hopefully get them to be more than a casual fan and be more like a boxing fan. But you've got to think of like big events like Harrison High, Klitschko, and now this. I mean, what are they going to do to those fans? I mean, they're going to think this sport is just a joke, really, aren't they?
It's a fucking shitfest. Joe, last question before we let you go, mate. Was that the worst pay-per-view card that you've paid for?
Yeah, because I know there's been smaller cards that have been shit, but 6 hours of shit is bad enough. Like, you think it's going to get better, but yeah, it was awful.
As I say to our listeners as well, I don't know if I said to the listeners, I said to the guys off air, my daughter's staying with with my dad tonight, so I've got the house to myself with the wife. I had dinner, we had a film, I had some oral, and I decided to go and watch the fucking boxing for 4 hours straight, and guess what I watched? A complete and utter shitfest. I could have been on the job just now. I could be on the job just now, I could be ball deep. But on that note, thanks Joe, I think we've got Paul coming next anyway. Paul, you there, mate?
Yeah, lads, mate.
How you doing?
I'm barely alive, but
alive.
Well, that really near killed me, to be honest.
I think you actually. I don't think you want to talk about the pay-per-view. I think you actually want to talk about that video that Mr. Bellew and Mr. Cassius actually released recently.
Oh well, to be honest, if he really hates your podcast, he seems to know an awful lot about it. But I'll leave that.
I reckon
the
he
pay-per-view.
subscribes.
Yeah. That pay-per-view, Kate's just said it then. That pay-per-view has probably just maybe crippled the sport in this country, or if it hasn't, it's done a lot of damage. Because how many casuals are going to have bought that and thought, what the fucking hell is this? What have I bought? What am I wasting my money on? I'm going to go watch UFC instead. And can you blame them after something that bad, something that terrible? Like, we can call them naive, we can call them stupid for buying into the hype and say, oh, it's your own fault if you've wasted your money. But at the end of the day, if these fans fuck off and they all think boxing's, not something they ever want to bother watching, then the sport's only going to suffer. And that pay-per-view has really, really set boxing back. Just like Hey Harrison did, just like Hey Klitschko did. That's really, really delivered a bad body blow to boxing in this country. Because how many people are going to have looked at that and thought, I'm never fucking bothering with that again. Never. What a waste of time. I think Eddie Hearn is trending on Twitter, isn't he? Of people wanting the money back.
Yes, yeah.
People want the money back. And okay, yeah, we laugh and think, oh, serves you right. But you've got to think of the wider consequences of it. How many of these fans are not going to bother going to shows anymore? And if they don't go to shows, then the shows get smaller. There's less money gets pumped into them. And overall, the sport just goes back to the way it was a few years ago, where it's basically on its arse.
I thought the actual atmosphere or lack thereof was actually pretty damning because even when Cleverly walked out, you think basically a foreigner walking into the Lion's Den. I seen a comment from Tris Dixon on Twitter at the time as he walked out. He says, "Very good applause for Cleverly." You would think a guy walking in there for a grudge match would get absolutely slated. And I felt even Bellew, I know you're an Everton fan, mate, that Zcast fucking walking music, that needs to get binned. It's a shit fucking tune, my opinion. Sorry if you're an Everton fan, I know you are, basically, but, I mean, even when Bellew walked in, he didn't get that big of applause either.
No, to be perfectly honest, I was
prick.
quite surprised. Well, a lot of people in Liverpool don't want to wear that, but...
Yeah, by the time the main event was around, I reckon half the crowd were half asleep, weren't they? I mean, they were waiting for so long for it, weren't they?
Mario Balotelli got his top off and started drinking a bottle of champagne. I've seen the picture on Twitter.
Should have got him in the ring. It would have livened him up, wouldn't it?
Fucking right.
To be honest, I'd have just stopped looking at the fight and just looked at him. To be honest, because it would have been more entertaining. That was that bad. I stopped scoring it after 6 rounds. I stopped paying attention. I just fucking turned the TV on and started watching Match of the Day. Was that bad?
Well, I couldn't turn the TV on because I'm in the dinette with the fucking computer. Team Stream loyal, shall we say?
Yeah.
Paul, did you pay for that, mate?
No. Quite offended you'd even ask me that. No, of course not, man. I watched it on the stream. Found it actually a good stream for it as well, but I didn't even pay any money, and even I felt a bit ripped off.
It's like you've lost. It's like you lost 6 hours of your life that you could have spent cunningling your missus.
Did you see there was a little tweet going around saying this guy made a mistake, go to channel 926 or something, and it was porn.
It was 3 at one point. Is that right?
Would have been better.
It was, and then someone says, "Oh, I've just done that, and my mum's in the room with me, you prick."
I done that the night of Frogs Groves. What do you do? I got 100 replies after it.
Well, fucking E4 had like a rerun of Hollyoaks on, and it was that bad that I seriously considered putting that on. That tells you how bad this pay-per-view was, that I really thought about putting Hollyoaks on over it and giving it my attention.
Is Hollyoaks still playing nowadays?
Well, it was on E4. I was flicking through the TV channels looking for anything that I could possibly put on instead of watching that on my computer.
Some fatty in that programme.
But no, that was terrible. We can keep saying, "Oh, Serge right to these stupid casuals who bought it. We told you so," and it feels good to do that. But when you look at it, when you look at the larger scale of it, that's just going to have done so much damage to boxing. Sky dumped boxing before after a bad pay-per-view, and okay, they're not going to do that now. But how many people have they just turned away from the sport? I really hope the show next week gives us some value for money, because if that show is terrible as well, then oh my god, what a terrible week for boxing in this country.
I just think as well as, you've had all the bullshit, Cleverly and Bellew have equally says, I'm going to knock him out in this round or that round and stuff, and never. You there, John?
Oh, sorry, yeah, I didn't know whether it was on or not. Cheers.
All right. Well, just while you're on the call, mate, just I'll fire a question to you, see as you're on the line. You've had all these comments here about, Cleverly is going to knock him out in 5 rounds. Bellew is going to knock him out in 4 rounds. He carries power. At the end of the day, Bellew's opinion was that he has settled the score. Did he fuck? After all that fucking bullshit you speak before a fucking fight, and you don't deliver. Okay, you kind of tee off on the guy for the last 4 or 5 rounds. You did not deliver, but you promised you were going to deliver. And I can't fuck it. I didn't want to keep going on about it, because I'm going to swear more. I'm going to get more complaints about being negative. John, give me your thoughts on that pay-per-view, mate.
It's actually, Bellew won the fight barely by this whole outrage over the split decision. You see people like fucking Jeff Reeves tweeting, "Oh, that was a fucking disgrace." There is an argument made that Cleverly won the first 6 rounds. He was flicking the jab, it was shit, but
he wasn't landing anything.
Bellew wasn't landing fuck all.
Yeah, but listen, you know what really fucking pissed me off as well? Like this whole, the fight caught fire in the night round. No, it fucking didn't. Cleverly gassed.
That's right, yeah.
Cleverly
Just stood
gassed.
there.
He fucking fell on the ropes. And even when he was fucking exhausted, Bellew still couldn't land. He couldn't do it. It was a joke. And like
So I
for
think-
Bellew to come out afterwards and, it's over, it's put to bed. That, there's not even put to bed. After, as you said there, all the talk about, I'm going to knock him out. He's going to sleep. I carry power. Nonsense. It was two shit fighters and a shit card. I just heard you saying there about how the other guy there saying how this might have done damage to Sky Sports Boxing. Like, really, it really probably has. This was, the whole thing was that shit.
Adam, do you agree with John? Was it that shit?
Well, actually, you have to think how many casuals would have actually bought it. Now, because I don't think it's going to have done that many good numbers. If they have bought it, then yeah, it's going to put them off. Don't forget the Joshua factor, though. He's gone in and blown someone out in a round. I know we disagree with who he's being matched against, but we know he's the cash cow or the potential cash cow, and he does bring a following with him, both on the attendance at the arena and on the TV. So Joshua's done his bit. The most exciting fight, because I've come away from that having paid half of the money with my mate, and I didn't enjoy it. Not normally, at whatever level I do enjoy it, even if I'm watching, fight what you send me in Japanese commentary. The best thing about it really was Douglin having a go at Groves for the first 4 rounds. That was the best. That was the best fight on the card for me.
Eddie said it was going to be 6 hours of championship boxing. Showcasing all these British talent.
Name me one
And it was
championship
shit,
fight on that card.
And I agree with Adam. I mean, Douglin gave it his all, didn't he? I mean, he was a small guy, got up in weight, and he gave it his all. And I was quite impressed with what he did for the first few rounds. And the Japanese guy again, he tried his best, but it was what we expected for the most part.
It just showed how little value. I know someone's mentioned McDonald. How little value they put on these paper titles. It's already been mentioned, but he opened the show in front of 100, 200 people. It's ridiculous. And Eddie Hearn goes on about building fight. Ricky Burns was never built in Scotland. Let's take him to Scotland. They haven't been anywhere near Doncaster with McDonald, who actually fought in the stadium to win the title when it wasn't even on TV. They've not been nowhere near Doncaster with him. So. But as for long-term damage, back to the original question, I don't actually know because I think the audience would have been that small. I don't think they've done good numbers tonight. I'd be surprised if they have. I don't know if it has done that much long-term damage. To be honest,
I reckon they have sold quite a few because, like I said, I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, I've caved in, I've bought it, I'm going to do it," and then
who the fuck's snuffing lines?
I think that's Mark, actually. Mark, you sniffing lines in there, mate?
I had my mic on mute, actually.
Listen, I actually got a fair bit of response, actually. I said yesterday on Twitter is I think 40,000 or below would have been the target, would have been the selling point. But then I was getting a lot of responses saying as well as the pickup has been quite good, and they were saying it could be averaging something between 60 and 100,000 buys.
We just never get told, though. I mean, whatever happens, Eddie will tell us it did the good numbers, won't he? I mean, that's the thing. We'll always hear that. He's not going to shit on these products. He'll try and spin it and say, "Oh well, the fight didn't go the way we expected, but we still got some good fights and all this rubbish." I mean, it's the way it is, isn't it?
John, just before we let you go, mate, 2 questions for you before we get Mark on. A, did you pay for the pay-per-view? And B, what do you expect next for Bellew and Cleverly?
I actually decided, I all week said I wasn't going to buy it, and at about 6:30 this evening, I said, fuck it, I've nothing else to do tonight, I may as well watch it.
Hell.
I know, but look, I wasn't somebody that was ferociously against it being pay-per-view, because I suppose...
But you are now.
Sky put a spin
you are now,
on things.
You are now, as Alex says, though, aren't you?
Of course, yeah. I mean, no, I never ever thought it was a fight of pay-per-view value, but I can see how Sky put spins on things and get casuals in to buy it. Do you know what I mean? So, but what's next with Cleverly and Bellew? I actually had said to a couple of my friends before this fight that regardless of the outcome, I don't think Cleverly will fight again. I don't think he has any interest in fighting. To be honest, I think he was finished after Kovalev and was drawn by the money to be made by fighting Bellew again. Bellew will hopefully, and I don't think he will, but hopefully will never win a world title, because I just couldn't fucking bear to listen to him fucking talk about it. But also, does he actually deserve one? I don't think he does. I mean,
He's never.
you know, this talk of, like, you know, fucking Frotch and everything, like, you know, like what Frotch with Paul Smith afterwards. If there's anybody in the world deserves a world title shot, it's Paul Smith. What the fuck? Like, seriously, you can slate George Groves, yet George Groves panned out Paul Smith in 2 rounds. Yet Paul Smith is the most deserving person in the world of a world title shot. You know, this absolute nonsense. But anyway, yeah, I don't think Bellew has much of a chance of winning a world title, to be honest.
No cruiserweight anyway, mate.
No.
Listen, John, thank you for the call, mate.
All right, cheers.
All the best.
Good luck.
Nice one, mate. Cheers.
On the call next, we've got Mark. You there, Mark?
Yeah, mate.
Like, first question I'm going to ask you, and hopefully you're going to answer to my satisfaction. Did you pay for that pay-per-view?
Hell no.
Thank my brother. Team Stream loyal. Yeah, listen, mate,
It was terrible.
Give me it.
Anyone who paid for that, I've got something fucking wrong with them, haven't they? That was a terrible, terrible pay-per-view. I mean, why would you pay £17 for something that you can get on TV, the subscription basically, which is almost free? You pay for your subscription, you get basically the same thing every other week, and it is the same thing. You got Ricky Burns and Brian Rose on a few weeks ago, didn't you? Fighting 2 tomato cans, and this time you got twice the amount fighting tomato cans. Brilliant. Everyone who's moaning about, I've spent my money on this, well, gutted for you, but you shouldn't have spent your money on it. You should have took a stand. Go to the pub. It was on at the pub. Go elsewhere. Stream it. But they couldn't do it. Just showing how much mugs they are. And the worst thing is, like Paul said, Paul was spot on. You know, the people are just going to say, I'm not going to buy this shit anymore, and they're going to go away. I feel more sorry for the people who spend twice the amount buying off touts. Or so at some point it's 10 times the amount. They're the real mugs in this situation. and they won't be coming back. Bye. They ain't coming back, are they?
It's fucking true, that, actually. I mean, no wonder this fight sold out in a matter of like 2-3 hours, because all those fucking tickets appeared on, I don't know, StubHub or whatever you want to call these fucking websites. You know, I think it was you, Adam, that mentioned that, was it not?
I actually looked on it a week ago, and there was still like on like 3 or 4 different websites I looked on, there was still like 20 tickets on each website, so it wasn't sold out on each one, and that's just on 3. There was probably loads, and then there was the guys who stand outside the stadium. There's loads of them. I go to fights every now and again when there's a good one on, or when I'm actually supporting a boxer that I like, and I buy them directly off that guy, and there's always guys outside going selling tickets and that. So that was definitely not a sold out fight. I mean, obviously people are gonna lie and try and brag that it is or something. I don't know why, because they aren't on the payroll or nothing, but it's just pointless. And it was just a terrible show from start to finish. In fact, I was out working all day today. I got back at 9 o'clock, shoved on the fight, and I was watching I know you're not supposed to be talking about it on the undercard, but I was watching Quigg, and he didn't impress me, but that was one of the better fights on the night, and that says something. If Quigg's one of the better fights on the night and he still didn't do very well, that says everything, doesn't it?
I got sent an interesting tweet earlier on. It says, we're paying for us tonight to watch the second and the third best cruiserweight in Britain, and I had to pause for a second. I'm saying, you're right enough there, mate, because Afolabi would beat the shit out of the both of them, wouldn't he?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Afolabi fights in a couple of weeks, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
I think that McKenzie would give them a good fight right now.
Yeah.
I mean, these are guys that basically just dived across the British level, haven't they? And I mean, let's be honest, let's not lie, guys, but the British level at cruiserweight has always been dog shit. Yeah. So, and they've just dived across it like they're so much better. And tonight showed you that they're totally not. You know, Bellew came in and he fought. Who did he fight? Some very small cruiserweight in his first fight, and he was close to going at some times in the first fight, and then he got the job done. Well done, Bellew, for that. I'll give him that one. But then in the second fight, he was fighting some tomato can from Brazil, who had like a pumped up record. And then Jim Watt said, or was it Jim Watt or Nick Hall on the Tactics show? He said he banjoed a good opponent. I don't know what the word banjoed means, but he didn't banjo no one. He banjoed a tomato can.
I tell you what, I got off my £17 tonight. Okay, I got a pizza, I got a £5 car out, and I got some oral sex off my wife. And I watched it on the stream. I actually even made some change and a profit off that. Typical Scotsman look after the pennies at the end of the day. Okay, can anybody beat that?
Well, I bought a bottle of Midori, a bottle of vodka, and I put a £5 on my online account and bet on the favourites. So I didn't really win much, but
so I
got some alcohol. Well, 5
20
quid.
pence, 20 pence back when the bet.
About 5 quid when I put 4 on. So.
Fucking hell.
I got some alcohol, so that wasn't too bad. I'm still drinking it now.
Just before we let you go, mate, who do you think next for Cleverly and what next for Bellew?
Well, I hope Bellew gets knocked out and then goes into the movies and gets knocked out. But Cleverly, I don't know. I like Cleverly, but you know he's just not in it. That loss to Kovalev has took it all out of him, hasn't it? He just hasn't got the half a box anymore, and he doesn't need it. He's got a degree. Go away, go back to uni and become an engineer or something. You don't need to box anymore.
If he's going to continue boxing, he really needs to get his ass back working with Enzo Calzaghe. He really needs Enzo Calzaghe gave him a foot up the ass, and he probably needs
a teacher. He needs something to get. I mean, this guy. I know he speaks highly of him, but this guy he's working with. He's a strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah,
he needs something else. I think at least that he needs to get back with either Enzo or.
There was a good point made in Boxing Monthly that if Cleverly's heart really was in it and he was determined to come back from that devastating loss, he had the opportunity to go and work with Adam Booth. I don't know what went wrong there, but he voted against that, stayed in home comfort, and like you say, he's a glorified fitness coach who's now trying to advise him on getting back to a world title. It's not quite good enough.
Just for those that are asking on Mixlr about how the oral sex went, I left her face like a painter's radio.
Poor Mrs. Patterson.
Yeah. Anyway, Mark, thanks for your call, mate.
No problem. I'll
Cheers, mate.
continue listening.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
I think we've got Declan on the call next. Declan, you there, mate?
Hello, can you hear me?
You can hear us?
You can hear me, yeah?
Yep. You sound like you just woke up.
No. Firstly, I just wanted to say that I've just checked the Eddie Hearn hashtag. No, the Eddie Hearn trending topic on Twitter. And that has kind of restored a bit of faith. Because if you look on that, I'm just hoping from looking on that this is kind of like the Hay Harrison moment for his, sort of success that he's been having. I think, so many people on that are saying he's had the pants down basically. So hopefully, people have sort of realised what he's about now. Because if you think about it now, like someone said before, I can't remember which caller it was, his definition of an undercard has been proved now, really. He's had so many chances to sort of show us, what he sees as a good undercard. And he keeps telling us every time, this is a great undercard full of 50-50 fights. And if you think Frochgrove's one was just awful. I can't remember who was on it. Quigg was on it, Crawler was on it, in just nothing fights. And Frochgrove's 2, I was there at that, and that was get to the bar, because that was just terrible. And this one tonight was just awful, because, I
think of those three... those three, I think the Wembley undercard was certainly a lot better than Frochgrove's one, and it was probably better than tonight as well. But it wasn't brilliant, but it was better than the other two.
Yeah, the Wembley undercard was... some of the fights on paper, I actually didn't mind on that. Like, De Gale, I thought, because when you think he'd been on Channel 5 and some of his fights had been a bit dodgy, I thought maybe... I hadn't really seen much of Gonzalez, to be honest, but I thought, that might be alright. McDonald, like some people were saying before, that's just never going to be a good fight. But, yeah, tonight, I watched it in the pub, like I said anyway. I definitely didn't pay for it, and honestly, watching it, it's just I didn't know what to do with myself. Watching Quigg especially was a fight where I was just sort of counting the minutes away for for the fight to finish because it was that bad.
To be honest, mate, I think I was like that. Apparently, I was like that through the Bellew fight. I was actually wanting, just something to kick into gear. It was just there was nothing whatsoever that actually. Cleverly wouldn't throw the right hand. Bellew did try to lead with the left hook sometimes, right hand. It was, at the same time as I was, Bellew was telling us he's got this power. He carries this right hand. For all intents and purposes, Cleverly shot the shit. Or he can't take a punch, and it's still at the same time as he took whatever best punches that Bellew could fucking deliver at him.
Apparently, at the press conference, Cleverly was saying he broke his right hand in the third round or something.
Yeah, I've just seen that on Matchroom's Twitter that Cleverly said he broke his right hand in the third round. But
he wasn't even throwing it in the first 2 rounds.
How could he break it when he didn't throw it?
Exactly.
Exactly. He didn't throw it from the first minute, so that's probably a lie. I think, to be honest, it's just... before the fight, that was the big question that sort of people had was, does he really want it anymore? But, watching that, the behind the ropes, I think it might have been the mash, gravy and chicken diet that did him in the end, because in the second half of the fight, he was just, in the last sort of 4 rounds, he was completely gone, wasn't he? And, to say... You'd think that would be the one worry that he wouldn't have, considering that his coach is like a conditioning coach and not a boxing trainer. I thought that would be the one thing that he's carried him through some other fights, is that he's always had an engine. But tonight maybe it was the weight, but he didn't have anything left in that last 4 rounds, and Cleverly was fucked. Bellew was fucked as well, so he couldn't finish it, and the fight was just awful to watch.
They was both carrying an artificial amount of weight. People can say that Bellew's got the weight advantage, but we've got to remember he's got to carry them extra pounds around the ring for 36 minutes. So although it might be an advantage when he's landing punches, he won't landing much. So they've got to carry that extra weight round, and really they're stuck in between weights. I was listening to 5 Live on the way back from my mates, and Bellew said something along the lines of, we probably need to be somewhere in the middle, maybe, 185, 190. So it is unfortunate for him that they're stuck in between weights. But yeah, I think Jim Watt, I know he gets hammered on here, but he made a decent point early on, saying that he likes it when fighters have got something to train, to, i.e. the weight. And it just strikes me that neither of them have had to train and get down to the weight. I know it can be slightly dangerous and detrimental if you're getting too far down, but at least it's something to aim for, something to push for. You're 3 weeks out, you've got to do more, you've got to do a mile or more, or you've got to run 2 minutes quicker, or you've got to do an extra round. It was missing. The snap was missing. And some of Bellew's work on the inside was horrible. He got one for the elbow. It was just slow and tame, and he was tapping with his punches. The quality on show was poor.
I don't buy that really. I don't think Nathan Cleverly's heart's really in the game. See, if you look at the best 2 fighters of the generation, Mayweather and Pacquiao, they fight at the weight they walk around it, don't they? They don't drop much weight, and they're the two fittest fighters on the planet.
Tony was fucking boiling down there anyway. Did you see him after the weigh-in? He was guzzling down water. Mm-hmm. Fucking necked a bottle of water straight away as soon as he got off the scale. And you saw it tonight, how fucking flabby he was.
He was, yeah.
I wonder if it was ice water.
He did neck him.
Bellew saying that, he should be somewhere in between light heavy and cruiserweight is a bit, just a bit contradictory again from him, because I thought he was supposed to be some big heavyweight in the amateurs that, he was killing himself to get to light heavy, and this was supposed to be the perfect weight for him. That's what he's been saying all the way in the build-up. So all of a sudden to turn around and say, I should be somewhere in the middle, is a bit, it's just typical of him, really, isn't it?
There's always an excuse, isn't there?
The two of them got destroyed, and they've came out with the excuses, haven't they? Move up and weight, and that's basically they've tried to sell this fight on the back of that, haven't they?
Tony didn't bang anyone out at amateur either. He talks about this great amateur record where I think he knocked out 80% of his opponents or something like that. But he didn't bang out anyone of note. He didn't do it at world level or anything. So it's it's skeptical at best of what you can think about that. Just a overconfident knobhead.
Dick, just before we let you go, mate, what next for Cleverly and what next for Bellew?
Well, Cleverly, I think, if there's not a rematch, you saw tonight. I don't think he wants it anymore at all. And for Bellew, well, I hope that he goes and fights Hook and gets cleaned out inside a round, preferably, and never fights again after that.
I'm actually leaning more towards the Lebedev fight, just because I think Lebedev punches harder than Hook, I think, doesn't he?
Well, anyone who can hit him and knock him clean out inside a round, then I'm happy. I'm happy with that.
Tony Bellew says that you can usually find him in the front row of fights. If fucking he fights Lebedev, you'll fucking scrape him. You'll scrape him off the front row.
Anyway, mate, cheers Declan for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yep. Cheers.
Nice one, mate.
Up next, I think we've got Curtis Robinson. Curtis, I think you're one of our writers, mate. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks, boys. Yourself?
Not bad. Did you pay for that fucking bullshit tonight?
I didn't. I just went to the pub to watch it.
You went to the pub?
Yeah.
So you sound like me. I've got the hiccups. So I'm fucking half pissed. Back you all right.
Oh, it's terrible.
Damn. Hey, give me your highlights of that card.
The ending.
I'm struggling now, yeah.
Yeah, getting home. I just want to make a point, though, that the worrying thing is, if it would have gone 4 more rounds of Cleverly still being in the fight with the jab, he actually could have nicked it on the cards.
Yeah.
Just by jabbing. Because Bellew was missing that much. He could have just nicked it. Obviously, one of the judges liked his jab, and the other one was pretty close. So
if one of the judges had scored 1 round more to Cleverly, it would have been a draw the fight, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the scary thing. That's how bad Bellew was. He couldn't beat a guy with one hand.
I honestly thought after the first 3 rounds, I thought Cleverly's coming out here. He's trying to prove a point and beat him with one hand. Then obviously, as the fight progressed, you knew that wasn't the problem.
If you look as well, Bellew said in the build up, Cleverly can only fight one way. He comes forward, hands up, head down. Just that's all he does. And it seemed like he was trying to show a different side. This jab and this movement. And to be honest, it was working well. Bellew couldn't land on him, but he did nothing else. He couldn't really adapt from that. And I think this is one of those instances where the winner is probably looking terrible despite winning. I mean, Cleverly, most people are just going to say Kovalev took everything out of him, he's got nothing left. And Bellew is against the guy who's didn't use the right hand. He stayed on the ropes the last 4 rounds, and Bellew is the natural guy at the weight, and he didn't really have much of a plan B, did he? He just was just shoving him on the ropes and just winging away, missing a lot. So both guys don't get much credit in their stock, really.
Do we think we just scared of the left hook? Why didn't throw the right hand?
He said he's broke in the 3rd round, but it just seems strange to me because even before then, like someone said, he wasn't throwing it then, he was just throwing that jab. But I think it was because he was worried about the left hook, definitely.
I definitely think it is after Kovalev as well, taking him out.
And it's just a shame because as the fight were on, he was taking some good punches. Bellew was missing a lot, but he was taking some good ones, and he seemed to be taking them fine. So I don't know why he still went to the 12th round, still worried about that.
Yeah, definitely. I think Ola Afolabi gets overlooked as well. I think he would have taken both of them 2 out.
Easy.
Well, didn't Afolabi fight Brudov a few years? Was it on a Klitschko undercard? He battered him in about 5 rounds. He dropped him about 4 times, didn't he?
He made him look. He schooled him.
He beat him easy, didn't he? Yeah. So I mean, and Brudov was Bellew's apparently big test, and even he was hurt in that fight. So I mean, I think Afolabi.
I don't think after that, I think that would be good.
Sorry, I'm still suffering with the hiccups here. Fucking torture. Curtis, mate, listen, what do you expect next from Cleverly and next from Bellew?
Cleverly, I can't see him doing anything, to be honest. He's gone. Bellew, maybe get a fight with Hook, get knocked out, and then I think that's it for him as well.
No worries, mate. Thanks a lot for your call, mate.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers. Next on the call, we've got Ross. How you doing, Ross?
Yeah, I'm alright, fellas. How are you?
You sound like me, mate. Fucking pissed to the wind.
No, I'm not.
Did you pay for that shit tonight?
Well, of course
Don't fucking laugh at me, you cunts.
Of course I fucking didn't.
Nice one.
I went on, there's a thing called in America, which it was on, and I found a little glitch in the system. It gives you 3 minutes free, and if you refresh, it gives you another 3 minutes free. So, funnily enough, just every round, just kept refreshing it and watched the whole card for nothing. So there you go. Terrible fight. Fucking don't know what Cleverly was doing. Those jabs were just awful. They must have had some power because obviously Bellew thinks that it can fill the fucking Millennium Stadium. What a fucking clown that cunt is, eh? Just no. I didn't want to ever see that again. Undercard was piss poor, as per usual. But you see, I think Eddie was just trying his fucking luck. I think if you can sell that, then you can sell anything. And I bet that's got about 60,000, 70,000 buys, I reckon. So all I have to say as well, it wasn't the best card, but the next card's going to be even better. So, you know, everyone's a winner, you know what I mean? Just not us, I'm afraid. So, I don't care where Bellew goes now. In fact, I just think you should stop talking about him, full stop. You should just rename him like Cunt of the Week, Cunt of the Week, another Bellew of the Week, because nobody wants to listen to him. That's it really. I can't even fucking... it just looked like two bears in a ring. They couldn't fucking hit each other. I mean, just awful. I mean, I think Cleverly, there's something wrong with his hand, surely, because he just wasn't throwing it. But was anything said after it? Because I just switched off.
He's saying now that he broke it in the third round.
What was he doing for the first two rounds, like?
Exactly, that's what we said the same, yeah.
He fucking jabbed for the first 6 rounds.
And the thing is, you know, it wasn't. It was like the weakest, just like girly jab you ever seen, weren't it? As well. I mean, it was just doing nothing, was it? It was just. I mean, even Watt was saying, should we even score them? I mean, it was just a weak jab as well.
See, if you go to a boxing gym and you jab like that, the fucking trainer would throw. Seriously, the trainer would throw you. That is.
Awesome. If you do that in a fucking gym, by the way, even during a sparring session, you would get your cunt kicked in, or you get thrown out the fucking ring. Simple as that. Sorry, that's a Tony Bellew statement there.
Simple as that. Simple as my.
He needs to get that copyrighted. Fucking bastard.
I don't need to get it fucking copyrighted. It's simple as that because I'm simple. I know fuck all about anything. I don't fucking know what you do. Simple as fucking that.
Ross, last question. What do you expect next for Tony Bellew?
Don't fucking care. Fuck off.
He's no worth a carrot.
Is he fuck? You can, and you should just strip him a Bellew of the Week. Give it somebody that's worthy of it. Yeah, somebody has an opinion. Simple as fucking that.
Cheers, Ross.
Cheers. Good night. Bye.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Just while I've got you in the call, Adam, what is Bellew running at just now for Bellew? Bellew of the Week award for tomorrow.
Well, there's been some contenders, and Rio Ferdinand, I think, has come close. I don't know if any of you see. I don't know if any of you see.
He's come right in tonight.
He has come. The market is reopened. I mean, Bellew could win the award any fight week just through pure activity. He has so many different candidates of Bellew of the Week. But for Rio Ferdinand said something along the lines of get Joshua in with Klitschko. I thought it was brilliant.
He said Eva Klitschko as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously he hasn't heard about Vitaly.
Get big Vitaly back out from Ukraine.
The main question is, just before we finish up is what we're going to do with Cleverly now. His future options are pretty much at the moment, considering how that performance went. Now, I would say
his only options are Tony Bellew rematch. He's got to do everything he can to get that fight because he's got zero options. Really, who is it? Stephen Simmons.
Let's be honest though. After that performance and Bellew apparently saying he's too big or whatever, he needs to lose weight, will Bellew himself want to fight with a Marco Huck after that performance, really? I mean, we know he's deluded, but is he that deluded?
Yeah, he is.
Yes, if he's getting a world title fight, he'll jump right in there. I think he'll win.
I just think, I'm disappointed in Cleverly. You got, he's a Welsh guy. You got Sir Joe at ringside watching you. You got the history of Enzo Macronelli at cruiserweight, and you put in that kind of performance, I just think he needs to walk away. I like Cleverly, but that was shocking.
You just know.
Big Enzo with that chandelier him at cruiserweight.
That's what I mean. The
He's
thing
on
is,
his prime, I mean.
Enzo, you can say what you want about his chin, but Enzo would go all out for it. He'd either put you on the floor, or he'd get put on the floor, and that's how Bellew talks like that, but he don't do it.
One thing about Enzo Martinelli, he does fucking carry power.
Yep.
Power.
But it just makes you think though as well. I mean, how hard does Bellew actually hit? Because people keep saying he's a hard hitter, but Cleverly, we saw what happened with Kovalev. I mean, Bellew said he's going to do worse than Kovalev. Well, you'd have to hit him first, I suppose, but the ones he did hit him with, he just seemed to take pretty well, I thought, Cleverly, and he doesn't look the same at all, so you'd think he would be, I mean, can you imagine him sitting on the ropes with, a Kovalev or, one of the cruiserweights?
It's not going to harm me.
It's the thing. I mean, it's the size of Bellew. I mean, anyone can knock anyone out at that sort of weight anyway. It's not as if Bellew's like rocking cunts with every punch he throws. Look at Prudov. Yeah, he knocked him out, but he took him 12 rounds to do it, and he was nearly on his ass, nearly out of it himself. It's a fucking joke.
His power was a myth. I mean, if he had any power about him, he'd have been getting Cleverly out there today easily.
Exactly.
He's lightest puncher in the sport.
Yeah,
I think
well overrated.
I think in both fights it proves that his powers are right, because he said himself, Cleverly gets hit every single fight. Cleverly's never not. He's not a defensive master. He couldn't do it. He had 12 rounds the first fight, he couldn't do it, and he had 12 rounds this time. And can you recall in 24 rounds, Cleverly remotely being hurt badly? I can't think of anything. Yet look what Kovalev did. I mean, he had him all over the place after 3 rounds.
Took like 1.5 rounds to put fucking Nathan in the shit.
And then Fat Terry O'Connor had to take him to the corner. And by the way, he was a disgrace in the Michael Spratt fight. He's too fat to be a ref, and he should be out of there.
Yeah,
he's a fat mess. To be honest, I was just looking at the rankings just now. Actually, Bellew is ranked 4th with a WBO and a WBC, and he's also ranked number 10 with the IBF. To be honest, I think he should go down the Grigory Drozat route. Does anybody agree with that?
Well, that would be the easiest route, and it's not easy at all. But out the other guys, yeah, you'd if you're Bellew, you'd rather go that route. But Huck is the bigger fight, and Sauerland and Huck they'll be laughing at that fight, I would imagine.
Yeah, but he'd have to travel for that. He would have to travel.
Has Huck no left Sauerland?
Well, he thinks he has.
He's still got
end of the year.
Yeah, but Sauerland said that he's still got a contract till April, because apparently he pulled out of 2 fights, which extends the contract till April. So he's still got probably 2 fights left, because Huck usually fights every 3 months, doesn't he?
Or would he just let his contract run down?
Well,
I don't know, because if he gets to Bellew, if he's really wanting a Bellew fight, and there probably is a couple of quid in it for him, he'll probably take that, wouldn't he?
Be a piss easy fight for him as well.
Exactly, easy money. Yeah.
Was he even there tonight? I don't think he was he?
No, he didn't turn up. He saw the undercard and thought, nah, fuck this.
Anyway, guys, closing comments on this, because the HBO stream just starting just now. Anthony DeMarco against Jesse Vargas will be starting very, very, very shortly. So, guys, give me your final thoughts on this pay-per-view. Adam?
Very poor. I gave it a chance. Very poor. And the main event could have saved the day. If the main event caught fire and was decent, then I think we would have forgot about some of the undercard. It wasn't all that bad. It could have been saved by a main event. The main event was the worst main event I think I've seen in this country since I've been following it, pay-per-view or non-pay-per-view. It was a shocking main event. The quality of it was no way near world standard, no way near, and it wasn't good enough.
Alex?
Fuck the Colts, fuck pay-per-view, fuck the casuals, fuck Eddie Hearn. As simple as that.
Kurt?
You know the scene in Dumb and Dumber where Harry sits on a toilet, he's had laxative and shits all down the toilet? That's what I think of this card, and hopefully now it's put Eddie to know that fans won't pay for this shit again, hopefully.
Tommy?
It wasn't worth a carrot. It
wasn't worth me actually passing up a shag of my missus On that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, chicks and dicks, we'll see you tomorrow, 8 PM live, GMT time. I'm your host, Andy Patterson. With me today, I've got Alex Morris, Tommy Allen, Kurt Ward, and Adam Smith. I'm off to enjoy the pay-per-view card from HBO in Macau, China. On the stream, of course. We'll see you tomorrow. All the best.
Cleverly Klitschko.
Carl Froch ruined George Groves.
Simple as that.
You fucking rat.
Bell, use a cock.
Oyster man.